Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Nocturnal Nerdcast, pop culture in the dark. It is dark in this room. It's dark in 3Dub's room. So, I mean, it's official. It's the pop culture in the dark stream. So there we go. Welcome, 3Dub. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
How you been? I had
yeah, go
ahead. I did have like a lot personal problems, but you know it's what it is. It's life.
Yeah.
But how you been?
Are you okay now? Right now? Like right this second?
No, it's going to be this way until I move.
Oh, you're moving.
Yeah, in a year and a half. But
Okay.
it's like terrible right now.
Oh. Well, let's brighten up your day. We have Darren in the house.
He's back.
Maybe that'll make your day a little bit better. Yeah, you're back.
We can do MCU powers now.
Well, we can't because
Jake's on vacation for the whole week.
Typical.
So we probably won't have any bonus tonight because Jake was going to do the other bonus and we forgot that he was going to be out of town. So we will probably do one. We'll do whatever the poll is tonight. We will do for Thursday. So we'll roll all those bonuses up into like one stream. We are going to have a stream. I promise. We'll have a stream where we don't have a million things to talk about. It will happen. I don't know if it's going to happen this year or not, but anyway, I'm going to put some choices up in the poll now. We have a few things to discuss tonight. I wanted to ask you guys, there's a few like shorter interviews with James Gunn on YouTube that were done this week. Have you seen any of those?
I've kind of been avoiding not everything, but just because we're at a point with Superman where so much is coming out every single day, where like I've been kind of like I'm totally fine like looking at it and talking about it, but like there's so much coming out. I was like, this is overwhelming.
I don't want to look at all of it. The reason why I was asking is because there's some like quotes from those interviews, and then there's the full interviews themselves. So I was trying to decide, and the chat can chime in a little bit if they want. I have like 3 different interviews that are like 10 minutes each that we could watch, or we could go over some of the quotes that I bookmarked and kind of discuss those quotes. But some of those quotes could be out of context, so I don't know. So I'm not sure which way to go. Who's the Darren imposter? Yeah, exactly.
Beard's gone. Yeah.
We will sit on that for a minute. And we'll get there. We get there because we have a few other things to discuss first. Well, we got Batman 2 updates, Darren, so we'll talk about that briefly.
Previously on Screen Rant.
Like, honestly, the funny thing is when you were gone, there wasn't that much, and then as soon as you get back, it's like, oh, the script came in, so we're talking about that.
Remember when Andy said there wasn't a script?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What else did I have in the title over here? Oh, somebody made a thread of all the Fantastic Four Easter eggs in the trailer. I thought that would be fun to kind of look at. I don't think it's everything, but I saw it and I was like, oh, yeah. These are some good Easter eggs here. Before we get into all that, we do have a super chat. Thank you, Cameron, getting the ball rolling. We only need 5 tonight. 5 super chats, teal or higher, to reach the monthly goal right here. We're really, really close. So if we get 5 super chats, we will definitely hit the monthly goal. So we did it. Last day of the month, and we're going to like crunch it out with the monthly goal. I'm so excited. You guys are amazing. But yeah, we have a few things to talk about that are not related to necessarily to Superman, all that stuff. I want to talk about Elio, which is there's some interesting. Have you seen the news about what was originally pitched for the movie or what the movie originally was?
I haven't seen too much of it because I still haven't seen it, which is pretty. Just because I've been out of town, which is I hate because I love Pixar. Like I'm normally like a first weekend kind of Pixar guy. But I've seen some controversy floating around. I like box office stuff has been pretty disappointing to say the least. And you know, there's definitely a conversation to be had about like, are the criticisms with people not going valid on this one, or is it on Disney themselves for not marketing it properly?
So you didn't see the news about they changed the entire movie, then, did you?
I've heard rumors, right? Okay. Because that original trailer was very different from the last couple trailers we got, and there was some theorizing. I mean, like they cut out a lot of the movie. Why did they do it? So
we'll look at what Hollywood Handle was able to dig up. I think most of it has been like double checked and triple checked, but we'll go through and see what some of the stuff they said. But before we get into that, let me go ahead and make the poll for this week. So we're going to do. DC, what was one of the ones that you wanted, 3Dub? Was there one that you wanted me to put on here?
I like the 80s and nostalgia stuff.
Okay, so we'll do favorite cartoons from the 2000s. And it could be favorite cartoon shows. Let's do shows from the 2000s.
Okay.
Favorite. I had a good one here. Let's do favorite. No, we'll do top 5 Pixar films.
Yeah.
There was something that Jake wanted. I just can't.
I don't want to put Jake's on here till I know when he's going to be back, though. Because I don't want that. Because I think he wants to vote on his own poll. I think he wants to vote on his own poll, so we're gonna wait for him to get back for that one. I'm working on 4th of July. I'll be working that night. It's on a Friday, so which is great for people that want to celebrate for once because they'll be able to go out and not have to worry about getting up in the morning. But that's like my work night.
Maybe we can do like top 3 most anticipated DCU projects with the movie about to come out. I feel like it's a good time to like what's coming up next kind of thing.
All right.
Supergirl.
Best animated villains of all time.
Ooh.
Okay.
Might have to vote for that one. All
right, here we go. These are the poll options. They're up now, and we already 2 out of 5 super chats. I think we'll hit the goal tonight for sure. But the poll is up. So favorite cartoon shows from the 2000s. That's 2000 to 2009. Top 5 Pixar films. Top 3 most anticipated DCU stuff. And best animated villains of all time. So I will say those are some really interesting choices this week.
Yeah.
I usually have a tough time with them, but those are all really interesting. All right, so let's do the super chats here. Cameron with a $5 super chat. Eric, have you seen the new season of Squid Game and The Bear? I'm watching The Bear right now. But I think I've said this before. I'm not a big Squid Game person, so
I haven't seen any Squid Game.
I don't know if I'll get around to it or not. I know there's like the actual TV show, but then isn't there like a game show based on the TV show or something like that?
Yeah, and now they're doing an American like spin-off series too.
Okay, well, I don't know. I heard season 1 is really good, but after that it kind of falls off.
I haven't touched it.
Did you watch it 3-dub at all? Squid Game?
It's not my cup of tea.
I love The Bear though. I think The Bear is a great show. So.
I'm really excited to hop on this new season. I don't know if you've heard all the rumors, but it might be the final season. It seems like if we get a season 5, it might be more of like a little movie or like a little like hour special or something to wrap it up, which is unfortunate, but also it's had a pretty good run so far. So,
Silhouette Animator, good to see you. $5 super chat. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and Chalk Zone were my shit in the early 2000s. I forgot about Chalk Zone. I completely forgot about it. I didn't even remember that existed until you just mentioned it. And you also asked here about like Marvel, DC, Teen Titans, Justice League. I think it's open for everything, anything and everything. Like I kind of leave the door open in discussions on where people want to go as long as it doesn't break the premise too much. So whatever they want here. Oh yeah, okay. I wasn't going to talk about this specifically, but I think we should talk about this.
I wanted to talk about
this. Is crazy. Well, here we go. This is a good like starting topic here. So $10 super chat from Cameron says, Eric, have you seen the Vin Diesel said the Fast and Furious come back to theaters in April 2027 and that Brian O'Connor will return and be heading back to LA and return to car culture street racing? What?
Yeah, he's dead. The actor's dead.
So okay. So are we talking recasting, or are we talking like his brother doing what he did previously and then making his face look like?
What I'm fearing actually is the fact that they're going to pull a Christopher Reeves thing and basically bring him back to life.
Okay, here's a question: as someone who hasn't watched any of these movies, who's just like an outside spectator of this franchise, what did they do with his character? Like in universe, is he dead?
He's dead. Yes.
The actor's dead, but not in the universe.
Okay, So
you meant
alive. Yeah,
yes.
like,
so they did a send off for the
like?
Yes. So they did a send off with the character to make it seem like he wasn't a part of the world anymore. But yes, the actor who plays the character, I think you knew that already, is dead.
Yes,
right?
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if they like Black Panthered it, where it's like he died on screen as
so
well,
the last movie that he was in, there's a big action scene that his brother plays him in, and you see his face kind of like mapped over top of it. And to be honest, they did a great job with like making it work because it looks like him, but he doesn't really say much. You can notice he's like very quiet a lot.
Right.
Because there was no audio.
There's a whole like driving sequence at the very end where he basically keeps turning and smiling at the camera and then keeps driving and smiling at the camera. That was basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. They could go even further with this because we've already seen the videos online. There's a lot of digital, for lack of better terms, digital blackface happening now with like AI, where we have creators basically creating AI black people on TikTok and then making them do really bad things, and it looks like a real video. I would not be shocked with money behind it if they didn't try to AI.
The only like I have a feeling like they will get the family's consent, but at the same time, I don't want to see a dead person come back to life.
It's scary shit. I am always a big component of a recast and these kind of cases, and even if that's the case, do you think people would accept that? Like if you have someone else coming in playing this character,
I would accept a recast. I would accept a recast.
Yeah. I would accept a recast. Yeah, but I can't go. I can't sit behind and go like watching a person that's supposed to be dead.
You know, I mean, a real easy way to do it would be to, without using him, is introduce like he had a son that he didn't know about that shows up and he's like old enough to take over his dad's legacy or something like that. But like, the crazy thing is when something is animated and someone passes away and you can still animate their character in a cartoon, that's fine. Like if they voiced a character, you know what I mean? Like Kevin Conroy, like if they wanted to use that version of Batman, but somebody else voiced him, you wouldn't have a problem. But this is actually a person, like a real person.
And he's also a person with a lot of impact. Like as someone who's not a part of that franchise, I remember like what a shake that was like in the industry when he passed away. That affected so many people. And I feel like people were able to kind of move on. I feel like the franchise was able to go to not necessarily better places, like from what I hear, but like different places, and they've evolved past that. And I can understand them wanting to like bring homage to it in the final movie, but like it does seem a little bit disrespectful to be digging it back up again as someone who has no context with any of the stuff that like they're doing. I'll be curious to see like what the internet reactions will be when a trailer comes out, when we get marketing. You know, I know you talking about like he has a brother. Could the brother come in and just not even do the deep face stuff, but just play the character that looks just
he looks a lot his brother looks a lot like him already. Like let me find his picture of his brother and I'll show you.
Like I feel like that might be the best case scenario, where if like the brother says, hey, I'll do it, I'll come back and play this character for a little bit.
I'll be fine with that, actually.
So, like, let me show you quickly. This is the two of them. Where's it at?
And from the way like Vin Diesel talked about it, it didn't sound like it's a small role. Like it seems like he's going to be like one of the main characters or something again, and that's like I know like AI can do a lot now, but it can't do a full length. It can't do like right now. It can't do like a feature.
Which means they would be doing small like 30-second things kind of blended together, which is what they're doing with a lot of stuff now to make it longer. So here is Paul and his brother side by side. They don't look exactly alike, but I mean, this would be much better than like bringing him back to life for a movie. You know what I mean? He
grows out a beard. It will be hard to, you would have to squint to see the difference.
Keep in mind, this is the same brother that allowed them to do like a digital mapping of his face, so they could put him in like the film to say goodbye to him and everything. So I mean,
yeah, I think there's two brothers they used.
There's another brother as well. Yeah, we're not watching the flashback. Sorry. Yeah, there's another brother, but they both sort of look like him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure. Like, okay, so first of all, if they decide to do this, this will set a standard for Hollywood. This will be a like a bellwether type situation, you know, where it establishes the line that you can go to as a filmmaker. What happens if the biggest movie star never stops acting? Like, they have a movie star that they like to put in everything, and all of a sudden his digital identity can be used in films for a fee.
Yeah.
And then the family starts making a bunch of money off of like a dead actor's face.
Yeah. I think we gotta, like, I know the like strikes were trying to put an end to this, but it doesn't feel like it worked. It feels like they made deals, but it didn't. There's loopholes.
I think there's loopholes, right? Because there's a consent factor, and since he died prior to consent, it's the family estate's ability to use his image and his likeness. I'm assuming there's a trust, right? I think that probably there was some sort of system in place where the family owns all of his stuff. That includes his likeness.
Yeah.
Which means if the family decides to do it, the studio's going to do it. And they can use his voice to train AI models. So the character will sound like him. The character will look like him.
Yeah. It's a scary, I think, like, landscape. And again, like, I think it always starts little. Like, you could be like, oh yes, it's just this one-time thing because he passed away and you know, blah 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 blah. But it's like one thing leads to another, like, you know, it scares me in, like, you know, how many years we want to do like another Aladdin, and you get like Robin Williams up in here because it's been so many years since the, you know, you know, whatever, you know, and it's like it's going to get to a point where it's like films are getting out of control, you know, like what we're doing here. When will films no longer be films?
I think we might actually see a movie where they just bring back a bunch of like dead celebrities that families have rights to, and they say you can use them. And the thing is, with actors in movies, you have so much material to train AI with, because you have tons of audio, tons of video footage that you can just feed into an AI program, and it has all of that at its disposal. Which means in the film, they can literally have another actor playing his character, doing all of the real life stuff on set, and then just say, map it to look like Paul. Map it to sound like Paul. And the next thing you know, Paul is back and in the movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Silhouette Animator with a $5 super chat.
I think we passed, you know, the 5 super chats too.
Which we just did now. We just did.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember how the Supergirl show wrote out Dean Cain and just had him die off screen in a dream sequence, had his stand-in only visible from the back? Yeah. Well, the thing is that they never tried to bring Dean back to the show, so don't have an issue with that. I really do feel like, though, we're in a place where we have to start giving a shit about the art again.
Yeah.
You know? What could possibly happen is only indie studios are making decent movies at the end of the day.
I still have to laugh that Dean Cain was actually Vandal Savage in Small.
Was he?
He was?
Yeah, he was.
I forgot that.
Well, that fits him.
Let's see. There's another thing here. This kind of ties into what we were just talking about. Let me pull this up here. Tab. Where's it at? Did I pass it already?
They didn't actually like name drop him, but his backstory and everything about him, just Vandal Savage.
What?
Off screen, they named him Vandal Savage.
Hold on a second.
What's up?
Okay, so hold on. We'll read the next super chat, and then I'll tell you what I was looking at. Hold on. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. We also have here Silhouette Animated with another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Zelda Williams is very protective of her dad's likeness. I'm sure a lot of celeb family. Yes, and that's good. I absolutely think they should. Yeah. If you have a family member and you're not a piece of shit, you will not just let movie studios use your parents or brothers or sisters' digital likeness with their voice. Look, I don't have an issue if you're paying tribute to them in a clip or something like that where you want to use them there. But use footage that exists of them already. You don't have to create an AI version of them to do that.
I think we're in an awkward spot with like Darth Vader, because I know they have a thing in motion where they can use all of that old footage, and I know for the Obi-Wan, I think it was the Obi-Wan series, they kind of like did some AI shit to kind of like alter the voice a little bit and to create new dialogue for that show. And I think like if that was a more isolated situation, I'd be like, okay, that's not a big deal. But again, it's like it starts here. It starts with little stuff like this, and then we do a Darth Vader movie, and it features 100% new dialogue, and it's like, okay, now we're gonna do Mark Hamill, and now we're gonna do it's like it's such a slippery slope, and it's like when I don't want to just like repeat what I just said again, but it's like I don't know. It's dangerous. It is.
All right. So thank you for the super chat. We have one more here from Cameron, $5 super chat. Eric, you're going to talk about the movie that producers made with it. And that's exactly what I was looking for. So Hollywood Handle deleted this tweet.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's true or not, but let's go ahead and pull this up here. This is the tweet that I was looking for that Hollywood Handle deleted. So Parasite producer announces new 100% AI generated animated series Cat Biggie. Now, I tried to find, I'm going to still look while we're chatting about it here. I tried to find more information on this, but I will not support, ever. I will never support, I barely support anything generated by AI now, but I will never support a movie made 100% with AI or a TV show. I will never support it. I find that we are in a situation where you have to put your foot down somewhere. Yeah. And for me, it is replacing artists with AI. I've said for a while that I don't mind AI for busy work. Like if you have a bunch of stuff you need to get formatted or organized and you want to toss it into like Chat GPT or something, you say, hey, put this in an order that makes sense to me, or I need help finding this thing, and use it as like a search engine that you could utilize that way. Things like that, paperwork, stuff like busy work that people don't want to do. I have no problem with AI being used that way. I absolutely 100% have a problem with AI being used to replace artists. Like, to me, that's crazy. It says here, so the reason why this has been corrected, I want to correct this now, is it seems like that the production company that made Parasite, whatever that production company is the one making this, and no one involved with Parasite is actually doing this. So it's been confusing. It says Parasite producer announces new 100% AI generated animated series Cat Biggie, but the team behind Parasite the film had nothing to do with this. So it's a little bit confusing because of the way it's worded. But they're basically saying that it wasn't the creative team behind Parasite. So I just want to be clear on that. But yeah, I can't stand behind this at all. I don't have a hardline anti-stance against AI. I don't think it's necessarily good for the environment, but like Paige and I've talked about, there's a difference between supplemental AI and generative AI. Like supplemental AI helps with things. It helps your workflow go faster. I do not have an issue with that. I think we need to do it more ethically. I think it needs to be better for the environment. If there is a way to make it better for the environment, I totally advocate for that. But I think trying to get rid of AI altogether is a lost cause. I don't think that's going to happen. AI is being injected into every single bit of tech we have. Trying to get rid of it is fighting a losing battle, guys. It's not going to happen unless you just log off the internet, toss your phone in the trash, toss your tablet in the trash. That's it. There's no way to get away from that. So what we need more ethical ways of AI to be used. Generative AI, unregulated, is not ethical. It's actually anti-art, in my opinion, because it replaces the creativity of people. So that's how I feel about it, personally. I don't know, 3W, are you going to watch an AI cartoon or not? No?
I didn't like in Secret Invasion.
Am I an AI right now? I could be. There are scary AI videos out there. I'm telling you right now. It's getting really good. There are actual influencers on TikTok that are 100% AI. 100%. Everything about them is absolutely fake. IRL streamers that are AI. Now, you can tell that the fingers get weird when they move around and stuff like that, but if you're not paying attention to that stuff, you're not going to notice it. Mm-hmm. There's ASMR channels of people eating that are AI. Look, as long as people are being upfront that it's AI, like as far as social media stuff, I can't have too big of an issue with it because at least they're being honest about it. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, there's a lot of people clipping that stuff and using it and not saying it's AI. And people believe it's real people. I suspect about 6 months from now, maybe sooner, you will have people on YouTube creating AI versions of other YouTubers. It's probably already happening. And the technology is only going to get better and better. So what will happen is you will have, like, I'm going to use Mr. Beast as an example. Somebody can create a Mr. Beast channel doing all the stuff that he does without being him. They're just going to make a channel, call it Mr. Beast 2, something like that, and just do all the stuff he does completely 100% through generative AI. Because there's no regulation on it right now. So, anyway, we'll see. I won't be supporting that at all. At all. Silhouette Animator with a $10 super chat. When Hollywood realizes they can use AI to never hire new actors again, I recall the scene when I saw a Neil Breen movie where a company fired its whole staff on their lunch break because the economy. Oh. Wow. Okay. And then you followed up here, $5 super chat. Thank you, Silhouette Animator. If you don't know Neil Breen, it's Tim and Eric, but played straight and funnier. Every boss or official in his film or beyond cartoon. Yeah, so there is a what is his name? There's a creator here on YouTube that has reviewed all of Neil Breen's movies. There's a podcast and there's a creator. I watch both of them over time. I don't really watch them anymore. I think it's, is it Good, Bad, Bad, Bad? Something like that. I can't remember the guy's podcast name, but it's two guys and they talked about it and they would review his movies quite often. And there's another channel that I watch that also reviews Neil Breen movies. So I'm familiar with Neil Breen. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, we got another super chat here from Screwface Capone, $5 super chat. Timbaland is making, I know, AI music label. I saw this too. And he may have used fans' beats to train the data for it. I saw, apparently he did an Afro Beats album where it's all AI. And I could tell, I went here on YouTube where they had uploaded it, or he had uploaded it or whatever, and I listened to it and I was like, this is bad. I think you can listen to it on streaming too.
I mean, I used AI to make my lyrics into music because I'm not a very good musician. So I can rhyme, but I can't like play it. So I use that. That's what I use on my channel. It's basically I use my lyrics to.
I know you said you haven't had any trouble with like copyright claims or anything like that, but somebody said that AI music, somebody was claiming other people's AI music. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know either, but basically I have zero copyright on my channel because I don't use.
You don't use, yeah, right. You're not using music from like actual like artists or whatever. Yeah, but I've heard I don't know if it's how it's true it is or whatever, but I've heard that someone can download a video that you've made with your music, upload it to their channel, and then claim that you stole it from them.
That shouldn't be possible. It's usually the first person that has it should be the one that can claim
right,
it.
But the problem is, I think with AI music is that they don't have a way to verify any of that because it's not, there's no paper trail. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, I think that Timbaland doing AI music is crazy considering how talented he is. That's pretty weird. That's pretty fucking weird. Fetman says, speaking of Mr. Beast and AI, he just got a lot of heat for showcasing an AI program that creates thumbnails for you based off of other creators. Yeah, I saw that as well. I make all of my own bad thumbnails, so like, I don't know. I will say this, sometimes when I go on Twitter and I look up pictures, like I'll go on Twitter and I'll say, find me a picture of blah, 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 whatever. I'll look up a picture of something and I don't know if it's real or not because it looks real, but it could be AI. And sometimes I'm like, is this AI? So I don't know. But if I ever use anything in my thumbnail that is AI coded, it's definitely because someone else made it and I just downloaded it from Twitter. So
I do use like AI background remover because it's easier than trying to get all the edges.
all of the photo programs use AI. Like there's no way not to use them. They all use AI now.
It's
RL
easier.
Morales, RL Morales says, I've heard you can't copyright AI because of its. So right now, as it stands, I know the laws are kind of antiquated with this stuff, and AI is relatively new, but you can't actually copyright or trademark AI stuff. But if somebody uploads it to their channel, and then they actually claim somebody else has used their music, I don't think there's a paper trail, like legal paper trail. So there's no way for YouTube to prove that. And since YouTube automatically grants, like if I copyright claim something, they will automatically follow through with the claim because they can get in big trouble if they don't because of the old DMCA laws. So it's kind of, it's one of those situations where until somebody actually goes to court over it, we don't know what the law is right now. We got another super chat from Silhouette Animator. Thank you so much. Last one, you can super chat as much as you want. I'm not going to complain. Loving Ironheart, but I'm going to be sad if 1, Sacha Baron Cohen is not Mephisto. 2, there's no Mephisto. Or 3, Terrence Howard is Mephisto. I want to talk a little bit more about Ironheart. I'll wait till Darren gets back because he wasn't here when we were talking about it last week.
Wasn't Terrence Howard in Iron Man 1?
Yes.
Or was that okay?
Yeah. I don't know if Sacha Baron Cohen is going to be Mephisto, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Cameron here with a $5 super chat. Eric, have you seen that YouTube is testing AI-powered search results and AI assistant to explain the plot of videos before you watch them? Yeah, I think it was on Twitter. I made a comment about this. Maybe it was here on, I don't remember anymore. I think it's really stupid to give an AI summary of someone's video before you watch it. Because why are we making videos at that point? You know what I mean? Like, as a content creator, if I'm making a video and someone can read a summary of my video in like a minute, then what's the point of even monetizing my channel? Because that's the whole thing. YouTube wants to make ad revenue, right? That's part of their thing. They have to make ad revenue. So if you have my channel monetized, but then you allow people to read a transcript of my video within the first 30 seconds of my video, they're not making ad revenue off my channel. So there's no split of ad revenue. So I don't understand this. This to me doesn't make any sense. As far as AI search results, that's just because they're integrating it in with Google. And Google has an AI search thing now. So they're putting it all together. But the AI assistant to like summarize videos, it's going to be a massive backlash. Because what's going to happen is for podcasters like me, I primarily podcast over here, it's not going to affect my podcast because you guys are here. We're all chatting. We're having a good time. We're live. It can give you an AI summary of what you guys are talking about, but it can't give you an AI summary of what I'm talking about right now, right? But what if you're somebody that does a how-to video? So say, for example, 3Dub makes a how-to video on how to make thumbnails for your YouTube videos, right? What if somebody clicks on the AI assistant that explains everything you're saying in that video before they even watch your video? What's the point of you making a video then?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. YouTube is about videos. Why are you summarizing videos on your site? That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. All right.
It's kind of funny too, because I when I had like a question of how something was done, I didn't know, like, for example, like the Smallville's special effects of him running was called Aurora. Basically, he has an aurora around him.
Mm.
I didn't know that was the name of it. All I did was like, how do they do that? How do they do the special effects of super speed on Smallville? And AI generated thing basically laid down what it does. I'm like, it started with the blur. It started with,
oh, you mean how to do the effect?
How to do the effect?
Yeah, but you didn't do that. You didn't watch that on YouTube though.
No,
right?
I basically typed the question in on Google and it told me.
Well, that's different. I know search engines are going to use AI, right? I get that. I don't know why YouTube would do an AI summary before somebody watches a video.
Yeah,
that seems against their business model, in my opinion. Like, you are a service that provides videos. You want people to watch videos so they can make ad revenue, so people will pay for memberships, so they can make money off of that. So there's a lot of reasons why they make money. Like, when you start adding AI into like summarizing the content on your site, then you're kneecapping yourself. I don't get it. So I'm going to see this on Thursday, regardless of what the score is on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't care what it is. We'll look at it here in a second just to see where it's at. But I'm going to see this on Thursday because I like these stupid dinosaur films. And yeah, but it seems like, I guess, some people are looking for something more substantial from this franchise. And Hollywood Handle here says Jurassic World Rebirth has no plot at all. It's 2 hours of dinosaurs chasing humans. And I guess that's all we need from a franchise that felt like it's been downgrading since the original. That's the quote from their review. We're not going to read the whole thing. I don't want to get any small spoilers for people that are excited about this. Like myself.
What does Hollywood Handle like? Because it seems like they're always negative.
Negativity gets clicks on websites, so you just have to realize that's kind of where we're at the moment. So that was my response. That's what I want from Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. I want dinosaurs and people running away from dinosaurs and trying to stop dinosaurs.
Isn't that the plot?
That's the plot of all the movies, pretty much. They deviated from that plot in one film, which was Fallen Kingdom. I believe that was the second of the Jurassic World movies. They deviated from that from a bit when they went to the second act and did like a haunted house movie, and people rejected it. They said they didn't like it. They wanted to go back to dinosaurs chasing people. I don't know about you guys, but there's certain franchises where I just want what that franchise is. Right? This to me is a selling point. If it's just a movie, if it's an action movie where I can stuff my face with popcorn and lose myself in a world of dinosaurs for 2 hours, I'm okay with that because that's what I expect from Jurassic World at this point. I don't need it to be some think piece on politics or social issues or anything like that. We have plenty of movies that do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great ones out there. I'm totally okay with a brainless dinosaur movie. I mean, that's just me.
I don't want to place on the other side of everyone else here. I've been looking for something more out of Jurassic Park for a while now. I like Jurassic Park, for me personally, as a franchise, I don't think has had, in my opinion, a good installment since the first one. And I think that first one changed the game in terms of like what you can do with cinema. And it's such a masterpiece in itself. and not to say you can't have these fun Jurassic World movies, but I feel like a lot of them just go through the motions, in my opinion, in terms of just its writings and what they're doing. And I personally wanted something fresh and new and exciting for the franchise. And I could be wrong, but just like from all the trailers and all the marketing, it kind of just feels like more of the same.
I think it is going to be, but I think it's going to be more of the same like 3 movies ago.
Hopefully,
You know what I mean? I
I
think this is going in the opposite direction of where the other 2 films went, like Jurassic, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion. Like I think
because what I wanted from this one, and like I get like that's not what they wanted to do, and I think that's completely fine. I wanted something a bit more intimate with this one. Like I wanted something that went. I think this is a franchise that feels like they have to go higher and higher and higher and higher. When I kind of wanted them to go back to something more basic. I wanted it to be, like you said, if it was truly just people running from dinosaurs, that's kind of what I want. And I feel like they haven't truly, really done that since the first.
I'm hoping that this does reset, because I do realize people had issues with Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. I get it. Like the last movie, people said it was like 2 movies smashed into one. It was all nostalgia bait. You know, I will say though, if this movie fails to reach like a 900 million-ish mark, they're probably going to be very disappointed, because I have the numbers over here. Let me look at these numbers quickly, because I looked them up before we went live.
You ever notice when we have like a monster kind of like movie, whether it's King Kong, Godzilla, or Jurassic Park, there's a Marvel character, from a Marvel actor in it?
Oh, you mean like Chris Pratt and then Scarlett Johansson? Yeah.
And you also have Captain Marvel and King Kong, and then you also had Samuel Jackson also in King Kong.
Mm-hmm. The Jurassic Park movie from 1993 had a $63 million budget, and over the years has amassed $1.14 billion. The first movie from back in the 90s. The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2 from 1997, ended up making $618 million off of a $75 million budget. So it was a little bit more expensive than the first movie, and did about 400 million less than the first movie, a little over 400 million. And the Rotten Tomatoes scores, because I know people always want to know about this, the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the first Jurassic Park are 91 and 93%. Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, is 55 and 56%. So a lot of people just did not like that second Jurassic Park movie. Jurassic Park 3, which came out in 2001, once again upped the budget to 93 million. That one, however, extremely underperforming compared to the other movies. That one only did 368 million in the box office. So it was half of what or a little over half of what the second movie did. And that one has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, tied between critics and fans. We come up to 2015. We have Jurassic World. Jurassic World had a $150 million budget, which is still kind of low for a movie with this much visual effects, in my opinion. But it's $150 million. That went on to do $1.67 billion. It has a 72% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And then we hit the road bumps, which is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom from 2018. It was a $170 million budget. It still did $1.31 billion, so it still did over $1 billion. However, the Rotten Tomatoes scores on that is 47%.
Yeah.
So the lowest one so far since the third one. That is the one where they tried to change the formula a bit, because if you go and you see that movie, it is vastly different from the other 4 films, because they moved the dinosaurs off the island into like a black market sales pitch thing for like an underground, people from different governments trying to buy these dinosaurs and access to dinosaurs. And then it turns into a haunted house type movie where dinosaurs are at every turn inside the house, outside the house, around the house. And the thing was, people seem to be upset and reject that because they wanted the movie to be bigger. They wanted it to be like a dinosaurs taking over the earth kind of story. And that's not what that was.
So is Jurassic World like a kind of like spinoff of the original three?
It's just a continuation of,
Or
the original three. Yeah.
I thought they kind of I thought they were rebooting it for some
I
reason.
think it was just a branding thing. They just wanted to have a different branding on it. And then we come to 2022, which was the most recent movie up until this week, which is Jurassic World Dominion, which had a crazy budget, partly due to COVID and all that. The budget started out at 185 million, but due to filming issues, it ended up being 265 million. However, it still crossed $1 billion at the box office. So the budget wasn't that big of a deal. It did just over $1 billion. However, Rotten Tomatoes scores on that one are 29 and 30% for that third installment of the Jurassic World franchise.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough, in my opinion.
So this is called Jurassic World Rebirth because I think they're trying to reset where they went in those last two movies. I think that's what they're trying to do. So yes, it's going back to the basics. It is a dinosaur chasing people on an island story, and it might be treading the same water, but I kind of want them to reset and resettle because it was getting a little out of control. They had like cloned humans and all this other stuff going on. And it was getting a bit out. Like for me personally, it was straying too far from the path.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so we will see. However, just for the sake of what we're talking about here, it currently holds a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not the worst score. 56% isn't, you know, I'm going to be curious to see what the fan score is. That's the one that I typically look at, is the fan score. I want to see what the fan score is to see where they're at on it.
That one's going to be the most important one for sure. And like, you know, like I have friends who have seen it already via like media stuff. And I think from what I'm hearing, I you know, no one's saying it's bad. No one's saying it's a bad movie. They're saying it's an okay movie. It's fine. It's middle of the road. It's whatever. And I kind of think they needed a win with this one. I really do. Like, I think after like two very not received well movies, these movies are known for not needing necessarily these huge critically acclaimed, you know, scores. But I do think we are in a slightly different era now, you know, than we were back in 2022 or even previously, you know, prior to that. Where like right now, this month, there is a lot of movies in theaters.
I know.
There is a lot of things coming out. And unfortunately, people are going to be looking at this. Like, you know, people say that like these numbers don't count. Unfortunately, they still do. Like this still holds weight for a lot of people. And people are going to be looking at this and Superman and Fantastic Four and they're like, hey, which one do I think looks like the best movie? And if this has a 50-some on, you know, their thing, and then Superman has like 90, they might be like, "Hey guys, we're gonna go see Superman instead," because that seems.
Yeah, you're talking about the fans that could be swayed based on like whatever they like. They're not a diehard fan of either thing. They're just like looking at the scores and.
I think especially after the last one, like I think Jurassic World 3 like got rid of a lot of their fandom. I really do. Like I think a lot of people were just tired after that last one. They're like,
well, I like Gareth Edwards. I think he's a great director, and so I'm hoping that his stamp is on this film. Yeah. So I'm seeing it on Thursday. I know you guys probably aren't rushing out to see it because 3Dub doesn't like dinosaur movies, so he's not going to see it. I'm going to go see it on Thursday, so I will be giving a very light on spoilers review on Thursday night. Like I'll talk about it, and because I love Jurassic World, I love Jurassic Park, so I want to go in and just hope for the best. I like the cast, I like the director. I hope that the rebirth element is truly a rebirth element. I want them to really push through.
You want them to be the reborn.
yeah, basically. Anyway, but yeah, so that's it for that. We're gonna drop this down for a second. I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already done it, if you are a channel member, I went ahead and put the links in the community tab for the Discord server. So if you are a paid channel member on the Reloaded channel or the Debunks channel, you now have access to our Discord server. So head over to the community tab. You can click the link, get into the Discord server. And it's going to be that way for the month of July. So if you want that early access, you can be a member of any tier and you'll be able to see that link and get into the server. And if you cannot, you can message me on social media and be like, hey, I'm a channel member and I can't get it to work, and I'll send you a link. But yeah, we've already got some people heading over there now, getting into the server. We're going to make some changes to it over the next 30 days. If you want to be a part of helping to do that as a channel member, you can sign up right now by hitting subscribe plus on either channel and clicking the community tab, get the link, head over to the Discord server, and then you can bother 3Dub on there and let him know what you feel, how you feel about him on the server.
Oh.
Anyway, all right, so let's talk about...
Let's throw Darren on the bus, too.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the Superman news since we're doing this here. I thought this was a little fun story here. It's from Collider. So, Skyler thought he was auditioning for the role of Superman. I had to pause there for a second. Okay. I thought I was auditioning for Superman. In my head, I was like, well, I wouldn't have been my first choice, but James is always doing stuff outside the box. I get it, man. It's more of an everyday Superman. That's kind of cool. And then I very quickly was like, no, actually, I totally see it. We auditioned, I sent a tape in, and my reps called and they were like, they want you to come back in. And I was like, oh, great. And just to clarify, I know it's W sides. It's for Superman, right? And the phone kind of went silent. And then one of them was like, no, they weren't W sides. It said Jimmy. He was like, right. Also, they were like, how did you get a call back? You didn't even know you were auditioning for her. I don't know, but it worked out. James loved that. So I thought this was a funny quote because what world did he think he was going to be playing Superman? No offense, but like...
I mean, listen, Hollywood's a weird place, right? Like Hollywood is always pitching, very weird, obscure ideas. Like I haven't watched it, but the studio came out a couple months ago, and that was a good show about just Hollywood's trying anything, and like you said, it's like, oh, like they're trying a different kind of Superman, somewhat like a Superman that's like weak, and I don't want to like insult the man, but a smaller build, like maybe they're trying something totally different and fresh and new. It definitely is very funny though for that he thought a scrawny redhead man with freckles is going to be your new Superman. I definitely appreciate his confidence though. That's
I'll be honest, I didn't see Nicolas Cage as Superman, but here he is.
I still don't see him as Superman. He's just a long-haired guy with the same costume.
I mean, they've done some weird things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, because they were looking at Nicholas Hoult as Superman, like he auditioned for Superman. I didn't see that when I saw him. I didn't see Superman, but someone did, right? Like it was at least
I think
conversation.
I hate to say this, but I think the issue is more like a height thing. I mean,
yeah, he's like 5'7".
I was gonna say I think Superman honestly has to be a certain height, really, realistically. I hate to be that person because I hate when somebody's like, oh, they're not tall enough, they're not big enough. But I think with Superman, if you are a shorter guy, short kings rule, right? But if you're a shorter guy, it just doesn't have that. I don't know.
It doesn't have that
maybe they could just cast everybody else as shorter than him, so the whole world is just people that are 4'7" or something. And
what's funny is you also have to have Batman at the similar height because you need him to basically be eye level, to be so he's not looking up at Superman or not looking down.
Yeah.
So it's basically you need something that's on the level of Superman. And
all right, the next one is the big discussion that kind of annoyed me a little bit. It's the first thing from James Gunn that kind of annoyed me. So let's do the super chats first before we get into that because I might rant a bit about it. I'm pretty sure that Darren knows what it is. It's the title of the stream.
I sure do. Yeah.
Here we go. Silhouette Animator, the $5 super chat. Dolores the baby dino in the previews got some hate online. I did see that. People wishing to see it ripped apart, which really upset my inner animal lover side.
Why?
I don't know. I saw the advertisement. I didn't understand what it was supposed to be though. Save Dolores at all cost or something, whatever it was they were saying. And I'm like, who is Dolores? I don't understand what this animal is. I know it's from the new Jurassic World movie, but I do believe people just try to trigger people. I think that's what it is. They want to say things that trigger people, and that's kind of the situation. Personally, I'll let you know how I feel about it after I see the movie. Maybe Dolores is an evil creature. I don't know. I have no clue. But People just try to trigger people. That's it.
And then you have
yeah, go ahead, 3 Dub.
And then you have like Hugh Jackman, who's like not 5'4".
Right, you want Wolverine to be shorter technically if you're doing the fidelity from comics. Silhouette Animator with the $2 super chat. R.I.P. Jim Shooter. Yeah, I saw that. I actually saw the post like literally right before we went live because I hadn't been on social media most of the night. And Jim Shooter, trying to see here what his actual run was. So yeah, well, I can tell you this, what I know of Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter was important and integral to everything Marvel did in the 80s. Like basically making the brand sort of relaunching it as a household name type situation. He transformed Marvel into a coordinated creative machine, innovated direct sales and royalties for creators, laid the foundations for today's shared universe crossovers. He did have some controversy, you know, because like he had social conservatism, which was the exclusion of LGBTQ plus content. He like supported that whole comics code thing. He did have a leadership style that alienated some creators, and he did have some storylines that had backlash. But overall, a big part of comics history. So, R.I.P. Jim Shooter. Cameron Walker with a $5 super chat. I'm rewatching Arrow. Do you think Oliver dating Felicity and Sarah in the earliest season kind of ruined the change of Oliver married Laurel? Ruined the change of Oliver. Wait. I don't totally understand, Cameron.
In the comics, he does marry Laurel. But...
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is there was controversy around Felicity because Felicity and Oliver don't have like a history in the comic books. So
I mean, Chloe and Oliver didn't have a history in the comic books either. But you know.
I think what they're trying to say is if they didn't have them hooked, they didn't have that in the early seasons, do you think they would have got married to Laurel? And yeah, I think in those early...
chance ruined the chance of Oliver marrying Laura. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think it was one of those situations where Felicity wasn't supposed to be the end game for Oliver, but it grew such a fandom, and it seems like the writers really got attached to them. They were like, oh, let's just pivot very similarly to like a Patty Spivak or like a Linda over on The Flash, where it's like they were part of the show as like a temporary love interest while they waited to do the long game with it, and they just fell in love with that ship. And depending on who you ask is either a good thing or a bad thing. It just depends on who you are and kind of what you're rooting for, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't hate Felicity early on. I actually really liked her character in the beginning. It was kind of like season 4 when things went downhill for me with her.
Sure.
Her excuse for her not getting like the sun info, I'm like, that's petty.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird decisions made with her after season 4 of Arrow. I don't think she deserved all the hate she got, though, honestly. And yes, Guggenheim's decisions did affect like some of people's love for Arrow. Look, I will say this: Earth 2 Laurel was a gift. I love Earth 2 Laurel.
Yeah,
but I hate that in order to get that Laurel, we had to lose Earth 1 Laurel.
Yeah. It should have just been what we did like from the get-go. They should have just gave her that like personality and that vibe early on.
I kind of wish they like did another particle kind of acceleration explosion and basically had a way that she visited Star City when it was going off and boom. Or she was on the metahuman bus and she got it.
Yeah. The other thing is that I think they kind of realized how much of a mistake they made when they got rid of her and they scrambled, which is why we got Dinah. But Dinah wasn't a replacement for Laurel. I know they wanted her to be, but she was not, because I think they lost the idea of what the replacement was supposed to be. It wasn't that people necessarily wanted a Black Canary. They wanted Laurel. They wanted Katie Cassidy. No offense to Dinah or the legacy of that character. But it just wasn't the same. And you could tell because Dinah's story spiraled once they brought in Earth 2 Laurel as a regular character.
And they really got out of control with the whole Black Canary thing. Because like by the end of the show, we had like 15 of them just walking around. And it's like, this is a lot.
I always wondered, is Laura Lance a junior because her mom's Dinah Laura Lance and she's also Dinah Laura Lance?
I don't think. Do women have juniors?
Basically, if you're named after your mother.
I don't really know an answer to that question. I don't think so.
Because it kind of they basically.
What would be a woman equivalent to junior?
Senorita? I don't know. Mrs.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Laura Lance the second, maybe. I also want to point out, yes, I've seen a lot of love the Arrowverse is getting specifically on Elseworlds. I've seen a lot of people talking about how that was a great mini movie.
I don't know why, but this week there's been so much Arrowverse talk. It seems like a lot of people are rewatching the crossovers. Maybe because Superman is about to come out, and they're I'm gonna go revisit all of this DC stuff. And
well, I mean, to be fair, if you want the vast majority of DC content, it's gonna be live action. It's gonna be the Arrowverse. It's the most stuff, right? The vibe of that. I'll be honest. I think the Arrowverse vibe is what the DCU is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be more like that than the DCEU, to be honest. Lone Wolf here with a $10 super chat. One of two. Just out of curiosity on my end, is there any film critic on YouTube you watch before or after seeing a film just to hear different opinions on the film? And then your second one here, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. So 15 total from you. Thank you, Lone Wolf. Or do you just stick to close friends' opinions on films? If you have a critic you watch out of curiosity, who do you watch? I'll be honest, I kind of gave up watching film critics on YouTube, the regular ones, the big ones, because after a certain amount of time, I just felt like they weren't really doing me any service for film literacy. I prefer to get on here and chat with these guys, the people that I normally stream with, because we all have a very similar. We know how each other vibes with stuff, so it's kind of I could tell, if Darren went to see a movie, I would know, he's probably going to like this movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would know, and I'd want to hear his opinion on it. But at the same time, we also have an opportunity to have a discussion about stuff we like and don't like. So
we're not biased. We're open-minded.
I think people like us are a little interesting, at least in my experience, because now that's kind of one and the same in a lot of ways, where a lot of my friends are film critics. So yes, I am listening to them first. We have friends that see these movies early and they're talking about it. I mean, okay, I'm someone who like to just kind of take a glance at a couple of people just to see what the general consensus is. I'm not oh, this one person, I am going to agree with them because that's what they think. Because I'm not someone that I think directly falls under this person is right most of the time. So I think it's very healthy to just look very broadly. What is the general feelings from the critics? What is the general feelings on the audience? And then from there, what do I think? Can I meet in the middle somewhere, or do I lean one way or the other?
I used to watch Chris Stuckman, but he kind of went off and did a little of his own thing, and I wasn't too happy with some of the decisions he made, so I kind of backed away from him. Jeremy Johns has turned into a chuddy guy, so I kind of stopped watching his content too. Angry Joe is entertaining, but I don't look to him for actual film criticism. If I tune into one of his reviews, it's I just want to see what kind of crazy stuff he's going to say.
Right. I do a lot of Real Rejects. I think they're pretty good when they see those movies early. I feel I don't always agree, obviously, but I feel they're pretty neutral on how they view the movies.
I guess I actually prefer film discussion over watching a film review, if that makes any sense. I would prefer to talk to people about the movies that I like
100%, yeah,
than to listen to somebody talk about a movie. You know what I mean? The chat's contributing here, we're talking, we're having some dialogue. I think that's more interesting than just hearing someone talk for 10. That's why I don't do a lot of recorded reviews of movies, because I feel it's better to get on here and chat with everybody about it.
I don't listen to hard critics, on YouTube. I more go with the genuine person, someone that's not getting paid to be a critic. It's more authentic for me.
We have another super chat here from Silhouette Animator. Is Eric upset in third person? I'll talk about myself. Is Eric upset about Gunn calling the CW era low-budget party favors or a supposed dark ending for Superman he discussed with Drew Goddard? I don't care. That? Yeah, you're talking about the first part or the second part?
The first part.
I don't know if he said did he say low-budget party favor? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It was an interview where he talked about the not selling off properties, I think, for DC. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the whole quote, but it was very derogatory towards the Arrowverse. At least that's what I took away from it. But I would put it this way. Again, I know Gunn wants to really promote his own thing, but I will forever be a defender of what we got from the CW Arrowverse. I don't care what other people say about it in terms of the quality. These were shows working on quite literally the tiniest budgets you can possibly get for network television. They were given relatively scraps compared to budgets. For example, when Supergirl left the major network to come to the CW, they lost 70% of their show budget.
Mm-hmm. You could literally see Martian Manhunter decrease in quality.
Well, I mean, it's just they lost a lot of their show budget. Look, I'm not giving them a pass because sometimes it didn't work. Yes, there were things they did that I didn't like in terms of special effects and things like that. There's some storylines that I didn't like. But I think it's really weird to discuss shows that brought you in billions of dollars on a very small amount of investment to talk trash about it. Especially when a lot of people who are going to go see the James Gunn era of films probably were fans of the CW Arrowverse shows. So why would you try and alienate the group that's supporting you opposed to the Snyderverse that wants to see you fail? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
I will basically defend the entire Arrowverse except Flash season 9.
The dark ending for Superman he discussed with Drew Goddard. I don't know what that's going to be or what he means by that. So we will see that when we get to it. All right, we had another super chat here from Cameron. $5 super chat. Thank you, Cameron. I think Arrow kind of ruined Vigilante by 100%. Well, I mean, that kind of ruined both of their stories, in my opinion, because it was very obvious that they gave her this story because they didn't have anything else for her to do. So that's why this was done. They wanted a red herring for Prometheus, so they had to figure out a way to make that happen, even though everybody really wanted it to just be the Vigilante thing. Vigilante ended up being a character that nobody cared about at the end of the day. So this was just a wasted storyline altogether.
They wasted my headcanon with Vigilante because I was like, Adrian Chase, oh my gosh, he's Vigilante. Fuck.
Yeah, they made some mistakes there.
All those theories were insane. People were going crazy. It was Tommy Merlin and Robert Queen and Roy Harper. We went crazy just trying to figure out who he was. And it was
I enjoyed all of that. That was one of my favorite times on doing videos.
I remember just being who? Who the hell is this guy? And it was a new character we've never met before. Okay.
Yeah. So we have $5 from Silhouette Animator. Thank you so much. A lot of film criticism now also doesn't look outside of the common consensus. You don't you don't see the Flash film talked about any other way than 100% bad. Yeah, because we've gotten to a point where nuance doesn't matter, and it's all about getting the outrage fix for everybody, getting them mad, getting them upset. How many people do you watch? And I'm saying this sort of just broadly. How many people get watched by the general public that actually talk about the process of filmmaking and what we see in the theater versus it was bad writing, it was bad cinematography,
right?
It was bad fight choreography. There's nothing deeper than that. Why are we talking about character motivations? Why aren't we talking about the portrayal of the dialogue by the actor specifically? What kind of emotion they're conveying? What was the intention in that scene? Why a character did X, Y, or Z? You don't see that anymore. It's just, it really is sort of it's either 10 or 0. There's no in between.
When someone says it's bad writing, I'm I understood the film. Is English your second language?
I think it's media literacy. It's just media literacy. I think when people say bad writing, they don't have a way of articulating why they don't like something, or they're repeating something they heard someone else say.
I mean, bad writing like can be a criticism. It can be a very valid one, but explain why it's bad writing. Like what about the writing didn't you like? And I think you're 100% right. Like I like this is like one of the reasons I hate TikTok so much is because it's like
what about that guy who screams all the time? You know what I'm talking about? He like screams all about everything. I don't remember his name, but yeah.
It's like all about like like what is the feeling right now? And it's all about like setting this narrative. And you're 100% right. A movie has to either be really really, really good or really, really bad. And it's like all this space right here is where movies normally are. It's normally right in the middle, both good and both bad. And let's talk about that. And let's have that conversation. And like maybe a movie is bad, but I'm someone who gets a lot of enjoyment out of talking about what didn't work in a movie. Like we can have a movie like Madam Web. And I think people really were very quick to just kind of write it off like, yeah, I'm not talking about that because it's so bad. But it's like, yeah, but I think it's at least an interesting conversation to talk about why we disliked it. Why didn't it work? Why was this a problem? And was there anything salvageable in that production? Not costumes, really, but like, the
costumes
like,
that the women got at the end of the movie. But,
yeah, like, like let's talk about what could have been cool and what could have worked even if it's a project that we don't personally like. But...
Now, someone said like the writing is like for a 4-year-old. That's decent criticism.
Well, but the problem is, what point in the writing process are we saying is bad? That's my issue. Like, was it the screenplay? Was it the script?
Right.
Was it the dialogue?
Was it the ad lib?
Like what? Yeah. What part in that process is bad? You can't say all of it is bad because then you're saying that every step of the way, every single person that worked on this project was 100% incompetent. That's just not a realistic criticism.
Yeah. And I also think people get kind of like misunderstand sometimes what the ultimate issues in movies are. And not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but like I think acting is one of the big things that kind of gets confused a lot of the time, where it's like, oh, this acting was really bad. It's like, okay, maybe it was, but it could have also been on the director not directing them that scene better. It could have been the editor not cutting out a certain bit of the movie that would have made that performance better. It could have been the like ADR team who maybe didn't do a really good job.
There's a lot, but see, the fact that we're even having this conversation, this is the level of dialogue you need to have with another person when you're talking about what you didn't like about something. You know what I mean?
Like for when the Flash did like a dialogue of scientific jargon, like it helped when they explained it step by step of like basically summarize what they meant. Right. But if scientific jargon is the entire movie, I would be like, I don't understand half of the shit because I'm not a scientist.
So let's get ready for that's a good segue. We'll do the next super chats after this little segment here. This one had me kind of rolling my eyes for the first time, and I feel like I might not be in the minority on this one. So, hypno glasses for Superman when he's as Clark Kent. Now,
they did a hypnotized kiss for Christopher Reeve.
I think I said a few weeks ago, and I think I said it with you and Darren here. I didn't even want them to address this. I wanted them to just leave it completely. Like, the best way to address it is to not address it. Just don't even discuss it. We don't need to have this conversation because at this point, we all realize that we're supposed to just assume that these two characters can exist and no one makes them out to be the same person.
I like how silly it is. That's always been one of my favorite parts of Superman. And like I was listening to your guys' conversation. I think it was from not the previous Thursday, but like the following one. How James Gunn was talking about how this DC universe is in this fictional world, and we're not trying to like replicate any kind of real world scenario, which kind of felt like a diss at the like Zack Snyder stuff, right? And not to say that's a good or bad statement, whatever. If you're saying this is in a fictional world where you can kind of do whatever you want and you can kind of live in this fantasy, let us live in the fantasy. Like let's live in a world where people can just believe that these are two separate people. And in just those trailers, I thought they did a really good job of making Clark Kent and Superman look really different. Like if I'm just looking at this character at like a glance, I'm not going to be like, hey, is that Superman? Because he looked very different.
And also, how often are people going to be that close to Superman? Like, is he like always in people's faces? You know what I mean? Are you going to be able to like do that?
To go on the point of I like bringing up Smallville, for example, but he didn't wear glasses for like 10 seasons, and then at the 10th season he started wearing glasses, and you could like basically you have to like suspend your disbelief, because the fact that everyone close to him knows he doesn't have glasses on.
Yeah.
And he's basically Superman.
Let's read his quote, and then I'm going to tell you guys what my issue with this is, because once we establish what he's saying, it spirals into my anxiety and overanalyzation of everything. Like, I'm one of those people where I overthink a lot. That's why I wanted them to keep this simple, because I knew this was going to happen to me. This is why a lot of times I am teetering on where a lot of the pedantic arguments are, because my brain does work that way. It's wired to work that way, but I have to pull myself out of it. But this is one of those times where I feel like I have to address this, okay? So it says here, it's canon in the comics. It's kind of been forgotten, but that's from the comics. The glasses bothered me because I just don't have that much suspension of disbelief to believe that. It's canon that they hypnotize people. Okay, so let me just start out with the first thing that hit my mind when I read this. After there was like, why? Okay. What about technology? If the glasses hypnotize people, that's fine. But does it work on cameras? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we're going to go as far to come up with an excuse on why it works on people.
Right.
Does it work on technology too? Or does it only hypnotize people?
Where did he get said glasses? You know, like, where did unless it's from like Fortress, like they made him up for him or whatever. It's I don't know. It's weird.
Does it work on Lois too, or does that's the other thing? Like, is she going to forget that he's not Clark Kent or / Superman when he's in the office, and then when he's out in the public as Superman, he's like, "Oh, hey, Clark." You know.
I mean, what if he takes his glasses off at work?
And rub his eyes.
Is it a one-time thing? Like, once you're hypnotized, you're like good to go. You don't have to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just I feel like this is opening the door to have this now nitpicked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before, it was just like, we're just going to believe that Superman puts his glasses on and people don't know who he is. It's Clark Kent, right? I'm totally okay with that.
I wonder if this is even going to be addressed. I would not even be completely shocked if this isn't an element of the movie itself. This is just something that he said, like, off the books of like, yes, this is what I had in mind when I was making the movie, and this is the reason that I used to do it, and not necessarily there being like a subplot where he's like, oh yeah, I have hypnotizing glasses, and that's what that's why you could like. That's very weird to me. And then what happens when you have to like reveal yourself? Like, how does Superman reveal himself to Lois Lane now?
Right.
Is there like an off switch once it?
Did she find him attractive as Clark, but not as Superman? Because I'm assuming the glasses makes him look different to people.
That actually happened in the Superman Lois, which I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty.
But that's what I mean. Like, how far does this go? How far does a rabbit hole for this go? I've been on board with a lot of what James has said, so I'm like not beating him up too much on this one. But I just feel like this was something that was completely unnecessary. It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah. It does make me a little worried in some regard, because if this is hard for him to wrap his brain around, if this is really hard for him to get past, what else is he going to struggle with going forward? It's like, well, that's too comic book. We're not going to go that route. That's too cheesy. We're not going to go that
like he says, I don't have that much suspension of disbelief.
That's scary. That statement right there is scary to me.
Like,
what about the like Lazarus pit? Is that going to be hard for him to like get around? You know, what about, you know, Batman fighting a giant, you know, man bat? Like, is that going to be hard for him to, you know, like, I'm slightly worried about like what he can get past and what he can't, I guess. This one took my breath away a little bit, because this was the one thing where I'm like, we're not going to have to worry about this. They're not going to address it. They're not going to
this is not going to be anything. And then we got this. And I'm like, okay, this is rough. This is a rough one for me. I'm not too happy about it.
Did you see his comment about what they're going to do for Batman's costume?
I've got a bunch of stuff bookmarked. I might have bookmarked that one. I don't know for sure.
If I don't
what did they say? Go ahead. What did they say?
Basically, they're like, Batman's not going to wear his iconic trunks.
I did see something like that. Yeah. They said something like it worked for Superman, but not for Batman, or something.
Yeah, it worked for Superman, but not for Batman. I'm like, it did in the comics. I mean, that the iconic, the grace.
I have a sinking feeling that the DCU Batman is not going to be that different from all the other iterations of Batman that we've had, which is kind of bothersome for me.
I just hope it's not like body armor.
I mean, it's going to be some form of like over-designed suit, I'm sure.
Well, over-design, but like not like bulky and metal and fight Superman.
Silhouette Animator says got his little OCD with DC lore, I think. I mean, some things could be left on the cutting room floor, I think. Glimmercast, my thing is, I don't know what satire and what's literal here. Yeah. I guess that's another thing. This one's got people upset. We talk about this. So this is an interview on YouTube. This is a 30-minute video interview with James Gunn. I was going to go through the whole thing, but I might do a separate video on that, or we might watch it on Thursday. The whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, the quote here is, "I'm very aware of Nubia. And yes, we are very much talking about that. And I want to have all sorts of people represented in the DCU. And yeah, you might be very happy in the distant future." So Nubia's had several different origin stories in the comics. At one point, when Wonder Woman was made of clay, Nubia was made of darker clay. So there's that one.
Yeah.
There's the other one where I believe she's still like a sister to Wonder Woman, but the clay storyline is gone. And she's one of the various warriors on Themyscira. And then there's the newer storyline where she's a separate character from Wonder Woman, I think. I haven't read the newest one. There is one where she's from Earth. Hold on, I have it written down over here. I don't remember the Earth designation. Let me see here. Okay, so in the 2020s revival, Nubia Real One 2021 was an adult graphic novel by L.L. McKinney and Robin Smith. Reimagines Nubia as a modern black teenager with super strength struggling to navigate systemic racism and her powers. This was non-canonical. It was a young adult take, so it's not part of the main continuity. And then there is Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, which is a reduced Nubia to the DC continuity as the Queen of Themyscira, a proud, wise, and battle-hardened leader of the Amazons, part of the Trial of Amazons storylines, rewritten as the Guard of Doom's Doorway, a position higher in high honor and danger. And now she's canonically queer, often portrayed in a romantic relationship with fellow Amazon Io. I'm not familiar with that character. So that's probably the one they're going to go with, because that's the one that's the most modern. I don't think they're going to go with her being a darker mold of clay. I don't think they're going to do that one. So it's probably going to be that one. And then again, hold on, where's it at? I pulled that up specifically because I had it in my notes. Where's it at? She was on the Earth with Calvin, the Superman, the Black Superman. But I don't remember what Earth that is. I had it down here somewhere. Does anybody know in the chat off the top of their heads what Earth that was? It's bothering me now that I don't know.
This is probably a really very stupid question, but I just want to throw it out there just for shits and giggles. Any chance we do her for the prequel series?
Earth 23.
Is it Earth 23?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, go ahead, Darren.
No, that's fine. But like, is there any way we maybe do her for like the prequel series that we're working on? Like maybe she's somehow the like lead of that. Like I'm not very familiar with this character. Like I'm not gonna sit here.
You know what, Darren? That would actually allow them to satisfy a couple of different things, because we don't have Diana in that Mascara series, right? We also know, and we're going to talk about a rumored casting of Diana, Wonder Woman. I think somebody posted. I don't even know where it came from. We'll talk about that in a second. So it looks like he's possibly thinking of two different women representing the Wonder Woman motif. So if you use Nubia as the TV series,
right,
we have a notable comic book character that a lot of people are going to want to see, that has an opportunity to give us arguably a more nuanced and better story than what we would get in a movie with her character, because we're going to get it over several episodes. And the ability to use her in films would be there, because I'm sure the production quality is going to be pretty high for that as well. Or there's a possibility that she could be another version of Wonder Woman in the DCU.
Right. Yeah, because I think with that show, you need a really strong lead to stick people in it. Because right now, knowing nothing about the show and what they're doing, I don't care, right? Because the only pitches is like Themyscira's version of like Game of Thrones, and that could be cool. But people don't like Game of Thrones if you don't have a really good Jon Snow. If you don't have a good, like a really good supporting cast around it. So you could have this like Wonder Woman kind of, maybe not officially Wonder Woman, obviously, because you want like Diana to be the first Wonder Woman, but
so Serenity, I think we're assuming that they're going to be changing the story somewhat. I'm not sure if it's going to end up being exactly what they pitched, because we haven't heard much else about it. So
yeah, it could change. Like there's nothing saying it couldn't be a. I mean, like now that there's like a Wonder Woman movie seemingly in the works, either this is going on the back burner or this could come out. This show could come out after a Wonder Woman movie now, which I think would actually be the better option. I think it would do better once a movie is out there and you could be like, oh yeah, this is a spin-off of.
How do you pronounce that name, Serenity? Is it EO or IO? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Cameron here with a $5 super chat. We're probably going to see Nubia in Paradise Lost or Wonder Woman movie as a supporting role. I wouldn't mind her as a supporting role in the Wonder Woman movie, but I think getting her on the show with her as the lead would give us a lot more time with her, and it would actually make her story more compelling in the movie. But, it's pronounced IO. Okay, thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. We have a couple other super chats here that we skipped over earlier. Oh, wait, here we go. Lone Wolf with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Lone Wolf. For me, I watched Jeremy Johns, Real Rejects, Dan Morell, Angry Joe, Kristen Harloff, Sean Chandler. I have seen some of Sean Chandler's reviews.
Sean's
recently.
Pretty good, yeah.
Cody Leach, John Campia. I'm hit or miss with John Campia. NATO V Movies, Austin Burke, and you guys I respect. None of them go woke BS. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing with me is so many reviewers now are going, if you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube and you realize that the clicks in the algorithm aren't where they used to be, they immediately start calling everything woke. We saw that with Tyrone Magnus and several other people. And I just can't get invested in people doing that anymore. So I've kind of pulled back on that a little bit. But most of the people that you've listed on here, I've watched videos of them before. Most of them.
I liked how you saved the best for last. And you guys.
Right. And Lone Wolf says, oh, and Boba Talks. I forgot to mention him. Yeah. But Boba also does other stuff. He's not like strictly a movie review guy. But he does do movie reviews. But I don't know if it's outside. Is it outside of the normal like fandom stuff? I think it's just the fandom stuff, right?
I feel like...
or has he expanded?
I feel like a lot of people aren't just movie critics nowadays, though, because you can't really...
No, I mean, like, does he talk about other things besides, like, the stuff, like, DC stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, it's a lot of fandom stuff, yeah. But yeah, like, I feel like there's very few just, like, standard movie guys now. Like, obviously there are some that just do movies, but, like, I feel like... I don't know. Like I feel like you have to expand to other kind of content now. If you want to keep relevant, if you want to keep normal, you have to keep doing rankings and live streams and shorts. I think like you kind of have to expand to your own separate category because I feel like not enough people care about like just movie reviews. You have to do theories and breakdowns and reactions and all
Easter eggs, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I've got your the message you sent. I just in private chat. We'll look at that in a second. Silhouette Animated with the $5 super chat goes, I see a lot of the same people think shitty memey adult cartoons like Smiling Friends or Rick and Morty are the modern Mona Lisa. Their taste doesn't matter. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I also don't really like, how do I put this?
There's no such thing as someone's taste doesn't matter. Like everyone's tastes matter and everyone's taste is going to offer someone different. You just need to find someone that fits your taste palette.
Yeah, I would say for me, it isn't even a taste issue for me, really. It's about being dishonest. I feel a lot of reviewers are doing a lot of dishonest shit. Like, if you are attacking Ironheart before the show even comes out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff is an immediate, like, red flag for me. The minute I see somebody doing that to any movie or TV show, I know right away that that's just, it's not someone that I'm going to watch. Right. I'm not going to watch their content. So it's more for my personal situation here. Oh, Glittercast became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. It's a good time to pitch that if you become a YouTube member now, you can join my Discord server, which you taled about that earlier. Discord. Head over to the community tab and click the link to get early access to the Discord server if you're part of the community. And it'll be like that for the next 30 days. So thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. I think I got everybody's super chat now. We're caught up. So let's look at this. First look at the Hall of Justice in the DCU. So let's make that larger. There we go.
Happy first, everyone.
Oh, that's right. What are we thinking? What are we thinking of this?
Looks like a Hall of Justice.
I don't like who owns it, though.
Who owns it?
Apparently,
Maxwell?
Huh?
Is it Maxwell?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Maxwell Lord?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Oh, I guess it would be like the Justice Gang. So this is the Hall of Justice for the Justice Gang.
This, I'm definitely feeling what they're trying to set up with this. Like, it seems like we are slowly going to be building out the Justice League, or like the like need of a Justice League in this universe, right? Like, I think he's going to have his thing, and it's a team that isn't very trustworthy. It's very corporate owned, and I would assume by the end of Gods and Monsters, there's going to be a thing of like, he had the right idea, right? We do need a team that can stand up and protect the people. What are we going to do with this building? And that would be the start of like the Justice League.
I wonder if the shot of him getting the whole like throwing a can at his head and walking into the building, that's the Hall of Justice.
Like what?
I think that's a courthouse, isn't it?
When the Green Lantern threw like a block to shield people from viewing inside, I felt like that could have been like Hall of Justice. Now that I look at the windows, it looks like what I saw on the trailer.
It could be, but I thought that looked like a courthouse inside the trailer, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the trailer again because it'll get flagged for sure. But yeah, yeah, 100%. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Let's do the... I want to look at these Easter eggs for Fantastic Four because that was a fun little... It was a fun thread for me to follow. Where's that here? By the way, I went and got the Fantastic Four pizza from Little Caesars today.
What do you like about the 4 different slices?
It was actually good. I mean, it's not the best pizza ever, but I got it for $7 or something.
No venom on it?
No, none of that.
I want to get the Superman Blizzard from their DK like DQ meal or whatever.
You know what I kind of wish it had was like for one side it was fiery, like it burned your mouth because that was the Human Torch, and then you have literally nothing on one side because it's Invisible Woman.
Mm-hmm. One can be like stretchy cheese or whatever.
Stretchy cheese, and the other one crusty.
Rocks. It's just rocks. You just put like plain rocks on it.
All right. So here we go. First little Easter egg is uniform ranking systems. Their suits aren't just stylish. They show rank. Reed's full blue. Sue has a white collar. Ben adds white sleeves. And Johnny's got white to the wrist, just like Star Trek's color-coded chain of command. And he goes through that here. The copper tone parody. Blink and you'll miss it. A fiery version of the classic copper tone ad. Johnny with flames bursting as a dog yanks his trunks. A cheeky nod to the iconic tan don't bum slogan that made copper tone back in the 50s. This was kind of interesting. Classic Human Torch design. Human Torch's flame design, a direct homage to the OG comics. And you can see it here when you click on the actual flames. You can see the lines in them.
Yeah.
You know when I saw that I thought that was his muscles. I didn't get the fact that he was like had a suit on. So I thought that's like burnt muscle to shoot.
Wait, from the comic books?
Yeah, from the comic books. Oh. Looking at it right there, it looks like torn muscles.
Halloween night arrivals. The Thing walking through a Halloween decorated New York City. Ghost pumpkins and kids dressed as him suggest Silver Surfer's arrival hits on Halloween night. Creepy timing. Spooky cosmic vibes incoming. The Fire 4 in the sky. I knew this was from the comics right away since I saw it. The Fire-shaped 4, Johnny blazes in the sky, mirrors the classic cover of Fantastic Four, number 1 in 1961.
It also plays homage to the 2005 movie when he did it too.
The Moon Footprint Tribute. One Fantastic Four boot leaves a dusty print on the moon. Direct callback to Neil Armstrong's legendary first step on July 20th, 1969. One small step for man. It says here, Galactus' ship. The monstrous vessel in space, Galactus' ship. Ta-2, but with Lovecraftian twists instead of the clean cosmic look from the comics. Think less Kirby, more cosmic horror. And we have the shot of it here. It's not a smoke cloud. So that's kind of good.
Yay!
But yeah, here's the classic ship there. It's kind of interesting that they
Is that an world 8 figurine?
What?
I was looking at the ship. Is it?
It's just the design of the ship. It's like the infinity symbol. Yeah. But the issue is, I think they're trying to go away from the Kirby design with the ship because they don't want it to look like it came from the same planet as the Fantastic Four technology. In the comics, it made sense, but yeah, I guess that's fine. Inside the ship, Prometheus vibes. The entire team entering Galactus' ship feels straight out of Prometheus. Cold corridors, bleak lighting, that tech noir and space horror flavor. Alien fans. All right, you see it too.
That one feels like a stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy from Internals? On the why am I pointing? You can't see it. The top right corner.
Yeah. So that's what they're saying here because the Eternals are Celestials. So Galactus' design looks heavily inspired by the Celestials from MCU's Eternals. He's not one of them, but he's powerful enough to even make Celestials nervous. So we have Galactus, and then we have the Celestials.
Is it just Celestials, or do they have individual names that we just don't know?
They do have individual names and designations, but in the MCU, they're trying to streamline what a Celestial is. So I don't really know what the designations are going to be for all these characters after we get through Secret Wars. Sue's spacesuit and her baby. Sue's white helmet matches scenes from the first trailer where they're giving birth in space. These shots likely connect. A space baby mid-Galactus attack. Oh, God. What? Okay.
I still think something like... I think we're going to see like 3 different Earths in this movie. One is they're escaping an already dead Earth into the one that we're going to see in the present day, and then also escaping to the MCU timeline.
I for sure think we're going to see multiple types of realities. I think that's
yeah.
I believe that's for sure.
Because I think that's the reason Galactus is there, because he keeps messing with traveling between worlds.
It says a refuge in the Subterranea. No crowds in New York City while Galactus wrecks the city. That's because everyone's hiding underground in Subterranea. The rocky tunnels match real life ones found by explorers, and Mole Man helped the Fantastic Four. So that's a speculation, but it does feel like it might happen. Might happen, maybe. Retro movie poster, retro vibes. We spotted posters for fake films like The Lone Nomad, Dear Margaret, and Sub-Zero Intel. All nods to The Lone Ranger, The Mountain, and Dear Ruth. Those are cool. Okay.
I love those movies.
Eiffel Tower Portal. One shot shows a giant energy beam blasting from a structure, also two more in the distance. And yeah, that's literally the Eiffel Tower as part of an Einstein-Rosen bridge set up by Reed's chalkboard. Really? Oh, maybe. I didn't even notice that in the trailer. That's interesting. Bearded Thing, Immortal Ben Grimm with a beard, rare in film, but there's a comic where he lives 4,000 years in the future. Rocks facial hair. This might be a nod to that epic era. What if it's possible that Ben gets stuck in some sort of time situation where he's stuck outside of time for like 1,000 years or something, and then they get him back?
Wouldn't that make him immortal? If he's
I mean, that's the title of the thing here.
Immortal Ben.
Yeah.
I wasn't even reading that.
We have here Sue versus Galactus. Sue's going all in with her force fields to push back Galactus. It's a nod to the team's classic showdowns with him, like in Fantastic Four Volume 1, 391. Sue's not just visible, she's unstoppable. That's puffing her up a little bit, but that's okay. I'll allow it.
You know, one criticism I saw about her using the force field, one was like, if she had a nosebleed, I'm leaving the theater.
Oh, I did see that, yeah, because that's kind of common trope, right? Keyblade Master Jeffrey says, I think we see a time jump. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some sort of a time jump in here.
Yeah.
Whether it's individual characters time jumping or whether the whole team time jumps, there's definitely some sort of a time jump. So, but the one thing I'm excited about is it seems as if everybody involved with this movie and everybody involved with Superman are both excited for the movies to do well without fighting with each other, which is, you remember when David Ayer came out and said, fuck Marvel? Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
I think the energy has been better than I predicted, right? Like, we've talked a long time about like these verses and which one will be better. Almost an entire year now of just like these predictions, and it seems like fans have been pretty chill. Like, it seems like people are excited for both, which is what we wanted. Now, are people going to see both? We don't know, but there hasn't been as much as a Marvel versus Marvel versus DC narrative that I thought they were really going to try and push on like TikTok and social medias and like, which one are you want to see kind of thing.
I am keeping my fingers crossed that both of these movies are really good.
You know what I've seen more of? It seems like it's more of a like Jurassic World versus Fantastic Four and Superman, right? It seems like it's like those two are together and then it's versus Jurassic World, which also isn't fair, right? I would love to live in a world where all three of these movies plus Elio plus I guess Smurfs does well, right? I want to live in that world, but I'm gonna be curious, and again, like, it starts this weekend, which is it's crazy that we're here.
This is the beginning, like 2 days from now, right? Yeah.
So I'm gonna be curious what what Jurassic World does, how that performs. I haven't been seeing a lot of talk about it in my personal circle, but I think that's going to do well on the outside circles. You're more casual people that are like, hey, I love dinosaurs. Let me go see a dinosaur eat someone or whatever.
Right.
So, and on that note,
like, that's the main reason why I don't watch Jurassic Park. Don't like to see people getting eaten.
I'm gonna have to hop out here. I have an early morning tomorrow.
Okay.
But, it was good chatting with you guys, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, so we have one last thing to chat about, and 3Dub, I saved this one for you.
Yay.
Specifically for you. And then we're going to look at the poll and see
Marvel?
what everybody voted on. No, it's not.
Darn.
Spider-Man Brand New Day will have a slightly different version of Frank Castle. Of course, John Bernthal's return means his character will be the same one featured in Punisher and Daredevil, but he will be less violent than usual.
I knew it.
Due to the all but guaranteed PG-13 rating.
That sucks. I really wanted him to blow someone's head off in front of Spider-Man. That's just... I wanted that fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where I told you this is probably what it's going to be, and I think everybody's starting to see the writing on the wall that Punisher will not be doing all the stuff he does in his show in Daredevil. They're probably not going to allow.
He's going to be a really good lawyer, isn't
he? Maybe. Yeah, but I think that you're going to be really excited with that special that they have next year, though.
And I really hope his nickname for Spider-Man is kind of like, I wonder if he's going with Webhead.
You think so?
I wonder if he's going with that one, because he can't say red again, or is he going to say red with webs?
Let's see here. I was going to get to Elio before Darren jumped out, but he jumped out too quickly. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. I think that was it for I think that's it for all the topics that we had planned. So we'll drop this down. And then we're going to do our super chats. Actually, before we do super chats, let's look and see what won on the poll.
We went like so far, like 27. Wow.
So basically just barely winning with 29%. Everything was very close. Is favorite cartoon shows from the 2000s to 2009.
Yay!
So that is the one we're going to be doing on Thursday.
Hooray!
All right.
I picked the good one, huh?
In the notes. You did. So that's the one that did it. All right. So let's look at our super chats and see what we got here. $10 super chat from Cameron. Eric, have you seen James Gunn talking about there are problems bringing Static Shock to live action in DCU because some rights issues between DC and Milestone Comics? That was in one of the interviews we were going to possibly watch, which we didn't get to because I didn't think anybody wanted to sit through like the video interviews tonight. But yeah, I did see this. And for me, I understand, but I also wish they could work it out. Sort of like how Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk and stuff like that gets used with Marvel from different rights holders. I wish that they could do the same thing with the Milestone characters because there's really good characters. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see Rocket. I'd love to see Icon. I'd love to see like Static. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see those characters come in. But it just seems like they're having issues with it, which is weird because I thought they consolidated all of that years ago. I thought that was something they consolidated. Maybe only in comics. Maybe it's like in movies and TV shows, the contracts aren't done. So we'll see. $5 super chat from Cameron Walker. Have you seen that Hal Jordan's childhood will be explored in The Lanterns and young Hal and his parents are being cast for the series? I figured they would be exploring them as kids because there were some other parents that were cast as well. So I assumed that was going to be the case. I don't know how much of it we're going to actually get though. In regards to that. Like we've only got a set amount of episodes. I don't know how much they're going to spend with the kids. It might be just flashbacks.
Is it like canon that his father dies in a plane crash?
I don't know.
Or is it just for the 2011 movie?
I think they might change it in this one. They might possibly change it. I'm not totally sure. We'll have to wait and see. I'm still kind of iffy about the series, so to be honest.
Well, to be fair, he landed it, so it wasn't a plane crash. It was just like basically he got out and exploded.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. Thank you for the super chat. So I think we got all the super chats so far. I think that's all of them. I don't think I missed any. Let me double check and just scroll through here. I don't want to miss anybody's super chat. I think we got everybody.
Big night tonight. 27 super chats.
I know you guys are amazing. Appreciate it. Don't forget, if you're a channel member, you do get like 1 free super chat a month, I think, per channel. I think it's every month. Not totally sure. All right, so before we head out tonight, I want to remind everybody once again, if you are a channel member on the Reloaded channel or the Debunks channel, there's a link in the community tab for the Discord server. All you have to do is click the link to come into the server. You can leave feedback, suggestions, jump in and chat with people, and it's a lot of fun over there. There is a status on there for Reloaded and Debunks. Just let me know which one you want when you come into the server, and I will give you that title. And it will be exclusive and early access for channel members for the next 30 days. And then after that, it will open up for anyone that wants to come in and join. So if you like to get in and go ahead and get those tags for you, those titles, you can do that now. Lone Wolf did say here, never talk about Vision Show making S.H.I.E.L.D. fans happy. Apparently, I sent you a tweet about it a while back. Maybe it was on a stream. We did talk about that. I don't remember which stream it was, though. Lone Wolf, I'm sorry. $5 super chat from Cameron. One of the directors in Lantern says the show promises intergalactic elements for the show. I hope so, because I want to be wrong. I don't like to be right. Like if I'm upset about something, I don't get excited that I was right about it being something that I don't want. Like I definitely want space elements. I want intergalactic elements. I just feel like everything I'm seeing right now is showing me that that's not what the show is going to be. But it could be, you know what I mean? Like it's possible. Do you guys want me to talk about the Elio stuff? I have 2 tweets we can talk about quickly before we
go.
I see a couple people in the chat are asking about it. We can talk about it. Let me pull them up quickly. Actually, we'll do this one super chat or this one.
I did get my first steps in Superman 3D tickets.
Oh, cool.
Yay.
All right, so we know the film is underperforming right now. It's not doing well in the box office. And a lot of people are saying, stop asking for different movies to come out if you're not going to support different movies. Well, it seems like there were some issues with productions for this film. So, details on Pixar's Elio catastrophic development path. So, Elio was initially portrayed as a queer-coded character, with also a scene in Elio's bedroom with pictures suggesting a male crush, which got scrapped from the movie. I guess somewhere either in development or after they did a screening of the film. The budget was actually north of $200 million, which is interesting. The Elio that is in theaters right now is far worse than Adrian's best version of the original. So the original movie as it was much, much better than the one we got to see in theaters. And it says here, the first cut of the film had a test screening where the audience were asked how many of them would see it in a theater, and not a single hand was raised.
Dang.
So there's a little disparity there between like what is being said about the original version of the movie versus what happened in the test screenings. So I don't know if the test screening showed any of the stuff that was cut, or if all of that stuff was cut before it got to test screenings. Not totally sure. Either way, it looks like the movie changed drastically from what it was prior to being released. And it once again goes to show that sometimes you should probably just let the creative people do what they do and allow them to put out the product they think is the best. Because now we're seeing the ramifications of that. Maverick here says, will hate against black actresses ever end? Leslie Jones, Ghostbusters, Halle Bailey, Little Mermaid, Dominique Thorne, Moses Ingram, Amanda Steinberg, Nico Parker. I don't know if it will ever end completely, because we live in a world full of assholes and bigots and people that just have a lot to say with nothing in their brain, pretty much. Because this destroys any real criticism, and it just disparages people, women and women of color. And I don't really have a silver lining to any of it at the moment. I try my best to call it out when I see it, but I'm just one person. And there's a lot of people that do it that have amassed a huge following off of hate content. So I would like to see YouTube enforce their policies on this a little bit more, but they just don't. I mean, I wish there was something more we could do about it, to be honest. Cameron Walker here with the $10 super chat. Milestone Comics basically took all their characters from the DC main continuity in their own universe back in 2021. Oh, that's right. They were doing the revival. I remember seeing that. They talked about it at Fandom. I do remember that happening. I do. 100%. So that makes total sense. But then they were supposed to be doing something more with them. Weren't they talking about doing more TV shows and movies with Milestone characters back in Fandom? I do believe they talked about that. I guess they just changed their mind, or when the CW went away, they didn't have enough outlets to put shows out. I don't know. It's a good point, Cameron, but thank you for reminding me. I completely forgot about Fandom.
They only have 2 shows, Young Justice and Static Shock.
Yeah. It's crazy.
How are they still able to keep the rights?
You know what's funny, Bob, is you've been here for a while. I don't think in the 2 hours we've been live, I don't think I've actually called out any one content creator specifically. It's really interesting that people get so upset when someone gets called out on bad behavior. I think the only person I mentioned was Tyrone Magnus. And I briefly mentioned him earlier, that I used to watch his content, and then he started doing like hate content and I stopped watching it. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about my recorded content, the videos that I make, I talk about a lot of different things. And yes, content creators are part of those topics. But you've been here in the stream, and I see you trying to participate, but you're just leaving like dishonest comments. I haven't disparaged any one content creator in the stream. Lone Wolf with a $5 super chat. Off topic. I've been binging the show again because I don't remember how it ended, but either of you watch House back. Oh, House. Yeah. It's the medical drama, right?
Oh, with, oh my gosh. From Stuart Little, the dad.
Yes. Yeah. I don't remember how it ended either, so I can't spoil it for you. But yeah, I did watch it back in the day when it was actually.
That guy's a dick.
Yeah, 100%.
Does he mellow out in the end? Because
Hugh Laurie, that's it, Serenity. I couldn't think of his name either.
I was like Hugh something. I was like, no, not Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Cameron with the $5 super chat. And the estate of one of the creators of Milestone sues Milestone Comics. Wow. So there's a lot of drama with Milestone that I'm not privy to. I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe we'll talk about it more on Thursday. That's pretty crazy. Again, I think it's got some great characters, but this is what happens when you get caught up in all of that like nonsense with like who owns what when it comes to live action. I mean, that's why we're in this situation now with Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man. And we were that way with Fantastic Four for a while as well. So I think that's kind of interesting.
House, so. Yes, I liked what I saw, but I didn't get through like the first season.
So Bob wants a little bit of attention. This is the last one I'm going to give you because we're going to be wrapping it up here. Sure, not one of my comments has been dishonest. In fact, you've even admitted to talking about content creators. The only one... What are you talking about, man? I said in this stream. I said we've been here for 2 hours and I've only mentioned one name, and it was only in reference to a comment about content creators and reviewers. So you've been here watching the whole time, and you know that we've been talking about stuff we love and things we're excited about. And you're the one here who's bringing the vibe down, man. You're the person that's farting at the party. So not totally sure what your point here is, except that I'm making you upset that I call out people for bad behavior. Cameron with the $10 super chat. I remember DC Fandom announcing that Static Shock live action movie and Milestone Heroes animated movie were in development back in 2021. Yeah, I do vaguely remember that, which is why I brought it up. I was like, I think they did talk about that. I think that they had intentions of doing all of that because they thought that the COVID streaming stuff was going to be a huge thing for them, and that they were going to be able to like put out a bunch of like content for streaming services.
I think there was also a fan cast of Will Smith's son Jaden as Static too. Like, I don't think he was confirmed, but there was a fan casting of Jaden Smith being Stag.
Yeah, I think it was a fan casting. Dwayne's wife got screwed over by Milestone too. Wow, didn't know that. Not farting at the party. Yeah, it's funny. People want attention, man. I think like there's a lot of people like Bob here, Bob Gutter, who as kids didn't get attention, right? I'm going to armchair diagnose you, Bob. When you were growing up, no one paid attention to you. You're one of those kids that nobody wanted to play with you. Nobody wanted to come over. You didn't call people on the telephone. And so you started acting out, like breaking things, doing things to get attention. And so you realize that negativity is the only way that anybody gives a fuck about you. And so that's what you do, man. You come into shows like this and that's what you do. Either that or you're just like sitting around standing channels with idiots. Like that's really what it is. Oh wait, hold on. Here we go. This is funny. They're slamming on big content like Disney is one thing, but slamming on just everyday people trying to make money on YouTube, and then you want to complain that they're punching down. I mean, again, you're being intellectually dishonest. Like this is you saying something that you think is a way to weasel out of what you really mean. You don't like that I'm talking honestly about hateful content on YouTube. You want me to stop talking about them. So you're trying to create a scenario where I'm supposed to feel ashamed for calling out people's bad behavior. But the reality is I am far smarter than you and any of the people in the space that do this kind of stuff. So all of this intellectual dishonesty and like stuff that you're trying to do, man, it's like you're barking up the wrong tree. Like, honestly, it's really funny, honestly. Like it really is. Serenity. I'm not going to read that out loud because you know they're just waiting for me to say their name on stream so they can make a clip out of it.
Whole 16 minutes of it.
I know. Well, the thing is, Bob, we're wrapping it up. You weren't giving my channel a shot. You had a chip on the shoulder about me. I saw your comments when you first came in. The reality is, if you really cared about like free speech and people expressing their opinion, then you would support my stance and speaking out against people that I don't like or content that I don't like. If you truly were a supporter of free speech doesn't work one way. It works both ways. So if you're somebody that values that, you would say, hey, I'm cool with you having a difference of opinion about these guys. I don't always agree with you, but I'm going to give your content a shot. But no, you were just waiting for an opportunity to like get some sort of interaction. But I mean, I guess if this is the only attention you're used to getting, right? Exactly. If this is the only attention that you're used to getting, it must be very valuable to you. How many times do you go on their shows and they give you a shout out, right? Right? How often do you go in there and they give you a shout out? Never. So you come over here and you act up and you make a fool of yourself so that people in the chat will see that you're getting attention because that makes you feel really good. It's crazy. Let's make sure we got all the super chats here because I'm going to give attention to people that actually love the stream and not this Bob guy. Hey, Bob, why don't you go like punch a wall or something? I mean, maybe that'll help get your aggression out a little bit. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit. Maybe it'll make you feel like somebody. Maybe make you feel important. Anyway, so with that being said, I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. All the people that came in and supported the stream. The brand new channel members, thank you guys so much for being here. All the people that super chatted, all that stuff, you guys are amazing. I really appreciate you hanging out. Don't forget, again, I want to reiterate, if you are a channel member, head over to the community tab and follow the link to become part of the Discord server. You can come over there and say all kinds of fun things, leave memes, whatever it is you want to do. Again, 3Dub is there. So you can go over and chat with 3Dub if you want. I'm sure he would appreciate you. Like, what's your favorite cartoon, 3Dub? Some memes of cartoons. Come on, you got to have one, 3Dub. There's got to be one in the back of your mind. What are your favorite cartoons?
Team Rocket. There's also I'm literally going back in time. Kids Next Door, Fairly Odd Parents, I did like.
Okay, we'll do all of those. Drop some memes of those in there for 3Dub. Anyway.
Hey Arnold.
Right, exactly. I want to thank Darren for hanging out. He wasn't able to stay the whole time, but I do appreciate him coming in. Make sure you guys check us out on Thursday. I'm going to go see Jurassic World Rebirth, and I will give you guys my honest opinion on it when I get back. I want it to be good, so I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully it is good. Make sure you check your area for pre-ticket sales for both Superman and Fantastic Four. I believe some places are already selling tickets now for Superman. And I don't know about Fantastic Four, but definitely check for both of those places. And with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Everybody have a very fun and safe week. And thanks, everybody, again, for all the super chats and supporting the channel. I do appreciate it.
And that guy should buy some aloe for his burns.
So, thank you, Jay Bird. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. All right. Have a great night, everyone. And we'll see